That didn't last very long. See you later. Rightio fellas, so there's a fair bit to digest here. Ever since we've had the red car up and running this year, it's dawned on me that how cool would it be if we could actually use the damn thing more than just going to the track. In my mind, I decided that I wanted to build a street car. I absolutely love the red car. I love every single thing that I've done to it. It's been all my dreams that I've ever wanted to do to, you know, semi-build a drift car. And I don't regret it, I still love drifting. But the fact of the matter is that I just can't use this thing as much as I really want to. It's just the ease of the fact that I can't use it like how I'd like to. You know, my son will be of an age soon where on a Sunday morning it might be cool to go to, say, a Cars and Coffee meet, or, you know, just whip down to the bloody coffee store and grab a drink. To me personally, there's nothing sicker than going for a rip in your dad's car when you're that age. I know that that's how I grew up, driving around in my old man's Falcons. So the idea was born to build another seemingly identical chassis. I decided that the main criteria that it had to be was factory sunroof, because in my eyes, the sickest part about any early 90s, late 80s Nissans and Japanese cars of the area were the factory sunroof models. And now that we've cut a sunroof into this one, I really wanted the street car to match, but I didn't want to cut a sunroof into that one. With that being said, I started looking for rolling bodies, sunroof rolling bodies, which I thought was going to be pretty rare and hard to find. Until, what do you know, a silver GDS4 R32 sunroof pops up. So after I was talking to the dude, I ended up locking it in, I bought it, and I got it shipped up. It was down in Ashburton, got it shipped all the way up here. And as soon as I got it here, I pretty much realized that it was fucked. I did know it had rust, but way more than I wanted to deal with. So as I'm realizing that this one is a complete piece of shit, what do you know, another one pops up. I immediately had to jump on it. I needed it. It was the one that I was looking for. After months of making posts of saying, wanting to buy 4-door R32 Skyline, nothing came to fruition until this bloody thing pops up, doesn't it? So overnight, we took the springs out of the silver one, naturally, put the RGs on it, and whacked it up on Facebook Marketplace. Just a fair price to cover my cost and the shipping of it. And it was gone back on another truck within 24 hours. So it left me in an epic position, paid the deposit for the white car, which was in Christchurch again, so I had to get that shipped up. And then now we have what I consider the perfect project, which is what we're gonna get into now. And what a bloody doozy she is, if I don't say so myself. So obviously, it is a R32 4-door sunroof, which was the criteria. We'll start with all the good bits and then we'll go over the bad. So the biggest part that I really wanted was a semi-complete interior. I didn't really want to be finding bits and pieces all over the show. So this one ticked the box there, and the dash is like pretty much as good as you get these days. We've got a tiny little bubble in the center there, but like on the scale, fucking not bad. We've got some R34 seats in here, which are temporarily mounted. They came with the car. It's got some super interesting leather back seats. I still can't quite figure out if they are OEM or not. Some people say they are. Others say they're just reupholstered, so I don't know. I can't find anything online about R32s having factory leather seats. It seems to be S13, so maybe they're S13 seats. I'm not really sure, but I've got some GDST rears that are under the house somewhere, so whack them in if we don't like the feel of these or we don't like the vibe. And the second thing that I was super keen on was a motor. So this one here came with a RB25 Det S2, supposedly rebuilt, but I've got my doubts. Not that it wasn't rebuilt, but just not that the fact that we're not going to be able to just run it. So the guy that I got it off sorry to talk shit, mate, because you're probably going to be watching this, but he essentially got it, from what I can gather, a few years ago, had it rebuilt, got it in the car, and then it doesn't look like it's been sealed up. So those of you that will know that obviously there's a motor is made out of steel. If you don't seal it up, what happens to the steel? It rusts. So I'm not feeling the most confident that it's going to be still rebuilt new, but that's all things to discover in due course. So obviously it's all going to come out. We're going to paint the bay and do all that kind of stuff. But even if it does need a rebuild, it shouldn't need much. Maybe just like hone of the bores, and I don't know, I'll whip the sump off and inspect the bearings, maybe pull a cap off. But it comes with things like, it's got a fuel rail, it's got injectors, it's got a manifold, you know, and another big draw card. She's got a full set of BC Golds. So back when this guy probably bought them, they were a hell of a lot cheaper than they are now. So I don't know how long they've been in the car for, but they used to be about 1,200 bucks brand new a set. But now if you go online, they're about 1,850, probably, you know, 1,900 bucks by the time they get to your door. So it really is just like the perfect project in my eyes. It basically doesn't need any of the bullshit done. It's pretty much just the fun shit. So obviously there's a bit of paint work to be done, but most of the rust work has been done. So the underneath looks pretty much as good as you get. There's no crazy rust holes or anything to speak of. A major place that these things do rust out in is in the rear sill there, or sort of through these corners here in the rear sill, just under the back windscreen. We do have the sunroof sitting on top of it at the moment, which we will get into shortly. But yes, basically that's been all done. It's got new subframe bushes in the back. This one is a rear wheel drive body, which is a tick. The other one, the silver one that I had, was a GTS4. I don't really want a GTS4. I don't really give a shit about the full drive shit, unless of course it's an actual GTR, but I mean, who the fuck's got that money? So not me, that's for sure. It's a factory turbo car. So from a New Zealand kind of warrant of fitness point of view, my idea is that I'm going to try and get it all running, tied it up as complete as possible, and I'm going to put some factory shocks and suspension in it, and we're going to try and give it a waff. So niggly part is that it is a factory auto body, so I know they're a little bit gay about warrant of fitnesses with manual swap shit these days, so I hear. So we'll soon find out. But to be honest, if it gets to be this thing that I think it's going to be, then we'll just take it for a cert, because it's a pretty straight car all round. And then to get into the more painful stuff, starting off with the paint job. Now, it may look upon appearance that the paint is mint, and to be honest, you can't really fault it. It is pretty good. It's a nice finish, at least someone that did the job semi knew what they were doing, and they look like they've given it a body job too, because there's next to no dings on it, so you really can't complain in that front. The only annoying part is that it was closed door, and you can kind of see a little bits here and there, and then obviously when you open her up, we've got blue here, so that's a little bit niggly. And it's even funnier in the fact that it is actually a factory TH1 car, so it's a factory blue car, but not that shade of blue. So that means that it's had two paint jobs, which is fucking bizarre, but obviously it's a thing. So the bonnet is in mint shape, and not only is it mint condition, but it is actually a genuine GTR bonnet. So those of you that will know, I'll just sit that on there for now, that'll be fine. But that in itself is an absolute score, because these things are outrageously expensive, especially in this condition. You just don't fucking see them, I swear. There's no ripples or anything, but yeah, you can tell that, you know, just whack it up like that, and she's definitely an aluminium one compared to a standard Skyline bonnet that I've cut. That thing is heavy as fuck. So moving on to some of the more niggly stuff. When I plugged the battery in, when I put the battery in it, it kept popping the main ignition fuse. And I thought, that's weird, that's bizarre. There's no reason why it should do that, unless of course something is shorting. So it's a dead short between obviously positive and neutral. And what do you know, since we come looking across here, we have an immobilizer. And then that really got me thinking, and I thought, oh, that's weird. And then, oh, hold on, what have we got here? This is where the alarm was wired into. So the alarm is in the siren itself. And from what I can gather, the bro that I got it off seemed to think that if he just takes the immobilizer remote out and the siren, and he just leaves the tails up under the dash, then he is then removing the immobilizer. Yep, that's correct. So whenever you would plug the battery in, obviously you put the main fuse because you've got all these live tails sitting on grounds, and I went along and split them all up, and I put some little connectors on there, and what do you know, it holds now. So quite niggly, quite funny, and quite fucking random. But I have actually just hot wired one of those 12 volts to the main ignition power, well, one of the dash powers, so then I can actually get some things moving, because at the moment the obviously with the immobilizer still wired in, you can't actually do shit without the remote. So I'm hoping that the guy still has the remote and he's going to send it to me when he gets back to me. This is basically what we had. This is our little temporary setup here. That's the fuse that kept popping, so we just made a couple of little connector guys there, and she works, so that's good for now. So with all that being said, that obviously only leaves us one main event to talk about, and that was the sunroof. So of course, in true fashion, that didn't come without any surprises either. So unfortunately, someone had siliconed up the sunroof. So very period correct, I would say, that people seem to think that these things are leaked like crazy, because if you have the visor down, the little sunshade piece, you can physically see water coming in, because the sunroofs don't actually have a direct seal. So it would appear that your sunroof's leaking, which in all reality it's not. They are designed to do that. They're designed to not have a full seal, and they do have a drain system. So if you look, now that I've had to take this thing out, we have all these drains here. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, one in each corner, and they have these little conduits that go down here like so, and they drain out the bottom. So I think that's what would have happened, but because it had been siliconed up, and most likely for some years, when I went to take the silicone off, or when I went to try and remove the silicone, obviously the seal came with it. So that's why the sunroof is now out. And also the headliner is in pretty dusty condition. So someone's obviously had it out before, and it's cracked in all sorts of places, which is a little bit annoying, but whatever. You kind of, I don't know, you kind of get that. But at least the sunroof works, so we'll take that as a win. And I'll just, I'll repaint this with some fabric spray, and I'll do a bit of a better job. It looks like they've just rattle canned it with some other shit, because, I don't know really what they've done, but they've done something anyway. Absolutely insane thing about this car, it has the OEM jack, which is bloody insane. Sadly, it doesn't have the OEM toolbox, but it does have what I am pretty sure is the OEM spare, because it's all Japanese writing on it, and it's got it just looks like someone's painted it black, so that's a bit of a score. I've never ever seen that. Out of all the Skylines I've owned, they've never, not one has ever come with a spare wheel, let alone the OEM jack. So it's kind of handy, I guess, considering this will be a street car. So hey, maybe one day we will actually need it. So yeah, other things, it's still got the guard liner even. Like, man, you just don't see that shit. Well, I haven't anyway. So there's a few good and a few bad, but I will definitely say that it's on the far better side of how these things come. So yeah, over the next few weeks, once we get this drifting bullshit out of our system, I'm keen to just hook into it, to be honest.
pull the motor out, give the bay a spruce, and then once the motor's out, we can give it a good examine and see the general condition of it. And then we've literally just got to put a hot side on it, make an exhaust, get a harness. For those of you that were wondering, this thing cost me 13, so 13 grand, another 3 for hot side and exhaust, you know, max, another 3 for engine wiring, and you could be, you know, you could be driving out of here with essentially like a pretty tidy car for 19. So for those of you that were wondering, there are still deals out there, considering that this all checks out and this motor's not fucked. So yeah, we're not too sure. We will get into talking about what kind of hot side we're going to put on it at a later date. I'm thinking something pretty big, something pretty laggy. Basically just want to make it like a super dope highway cruiser. So I don't know, like I've got no idea, maybe a 3582 or a HX40 or something like that. That will hopefully make, I don't know, 360, 370 kilowatt. I don't know if I'm shooting for the stars here a little bit, but I feel like on a stock block 25, you know, not too much boost. Yeah, I don't even know if it's got a head studs. I think it's got a, so the guy says it's got a Tomo head gasket, so we'll see once we pull things apart what we are dealing with. So that is her for now, fellas. Pretty damn excited about it, to be honest. It's a bit of a dream to have, you know, one of these in pretty good nick, and then one that's obviously full dedicated drift car. So that's not in such great a nick anymore. But to be honest, this thing was never that nice, so I didn't really mind doing it. It's only in there that makes you think that it might be kind of nice, but the rest of it's pretty rough. But that's what it's for. So that will pretty much wrap this up now, guys. We will pick up where we left off in a few weeks' time. There'll be a video of Matsuri in between this one and the next of this car, so hang out and stay tuned for that one. But apart from that, as usual, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.